across the World Wide Web, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms. This is Jambo Radio! www.jamboradio.co.uk. We are multilingual. We are conversational in the languages you best understand. We are Jambo Radio! Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Good evening and welcome back to Jambo Radio. You're with me, Holly Moon from Swipe Right, and you're listening to Love on the Stereo. Of course, I mean, you know by now these dulcet, sexy tones coming at you through this microphone. It can only be me. Happy Friday, everyone. And also, I mean, it has to be done, right? Like we've established a sort of routine where I talk about the weather. So here we are. Do you know what I mean? What a beautiful day. I was coming on the train and you could literally see from like, I don't know if they're mountains or hills, whatever they're called. I was like, damn, this is nice. This is beautiful. Anyway, I hope you guys are geared up for a lovely weekend. I haven't actually checked the weather. I was caught out like, I don't know, last weekend. I went to meet a friend and I was still wearing like the winter jacket with the what's it called? Like, it's like almost like a sleeping bag. And I went and I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? Anyway, it didn't happen. It won't happen again because I'm going to be checking the weather. I didn't do it today, but I just decided it's time to put the winter coat away. I don't know for you if it's still hanging out for you. I've decided I'm going to gaslight the weather. Now that the jacket's away, it's not coming back until the winter. Okay. But yeah, so welcome back to the show. We're on every Friday at 6 p.m. And today, wow, literally, how much have I been saying? If you want to talk to me, come online. If you want to talk to me, reach out on the show, come speak to me. And finally, guys, tonight I have a special guest. We are honored on Love on the Stereo to have our first male guest. That's right. Pew, 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 pew. Pretend that was that radio trumpet thing, right? So I've been trying to get a man on this show because, I mean, there's only so much female perspective I can have. And I have so many female guests lined up and I'm just like, I need a man from the streets to come on. Okay, this man is not from the streets. He's a married man, but still, do you know what I mean? So I'm very honored today to introduce our guest. He'll be joining us shortly, and actually I'll let him give himself a proper introduction because it's an honor today. But if you do want to join into the chat this evening, you can call the studio directly on 0141 530 2787, or you can send us a WhatsApp message or voice note, I don't know, text, video. I think WhatsApp now does video calls actually, or so like video voice notes. You have to upgrade your phone for that. I'm pretty sure that is something, but you can do that on 0745 990 6822. And if you're on social media, you can also message us on Facebook, Jambo Radio Scotland. On Twitter, we are at Jambo Radio 1. I think last week I said on X, we are Jambo Radio 1. And one of my friends called me out. They were like, oh, so you're falling for what Elon Musk wants you to fall for. You want to call it X. Anyway, I'm back. Like, bullying worked. I'm going to call it Twitter again. All right. So that's on Twitter. Contact us at Jambo Radio 1. On Instagram, we are at jamboradio.scotland, or you can contact myself and the rest of the Love Gurus on Love on the Stereo. Love.on.that.stereo. You can also email us at info@jamboradio.co.uk. Send us your comment. We'd love to hear from you and your contributions to tonight's topic. And yeah, so let's get into this. So literally, I don't know if you could hear that door shutting very subtly. We're joined by my guest. I'm gonna give him a moment to settle in and whatnot, right? We'll talk amongst ourselves. We'll just pretend we're listening to elevator music. You know how it is. Just let him settle in, get a drink, relax. Okay, we ready? Cool. No, don't need to do that. Yeah. We're very, very professional here. So guys, I'd love for you to join my first male guest of the show, Mr. Rahim Cham. Please introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hello, thank you very much for having me, Holly. It's an honor to be on this wonderful program. My name is Rahim. I'm a a journalist by profession. I used to work at the BBC, but now I just do freelance gigs for them, and do freelance gigs here and there for different people. But started off my journey in the media as an event host back home in the Gambia, where I'm from. I used to do event host. I used to host events. Then I got into, hip hop music a lot. I used to organize concerts. We had a hip hop movement called the Cypher.
Oh.
So it was like we used to organize rap battles. We used to have artists up there, organizing rap battles.
Do you rap?
Yeah. I used to rap, but I'm not a rapper. Yeah. So I used to rap, but I'm not a rapper.
He's humble.
Yeah. So I used to host these events and stuff like that. That's how I got into the media. State broadcaster of the Gambia.
Okay.
Picked me up there. One of the entertainment presenter in English. That's how I got into media. Rose through the ranks, started reporting, doing entertainment reports, but current affairs. Rose through the ranks, started anchoring the news, wearing the suits and tie, the whole costume.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you have the anchor voice? Do you know the one I'm talking about?
We're live in Banjo, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. This is Jambo Radio at 2700 hours with me by Rahim Cham, and in our top stories this evening.
Oh my God. So how do they do that? Like, do they train you? Do you, like, when you start the job, do they put you in a room and they're like, this is the tone to use? Because you all have that anchor voice. How do you get it?
Okay, what I did was, I was straight off the ghetto. I was straight off the streets. So I didn't know anything about how government works.
What does the Gambian normal accent sound like before you put like the anchor voice on it? Is it very...
The normal Gambian accent or voice, I'll say, is very similar to Nigerians, because in the Gambia, most of our teachers in our schools are Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we do talk like, I want to go to the toilet.
Right.
I need to go home by 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So
you can't put that on the news.
Yeah. No,
You
some news
and
anchors.
You should. Yeah.
Well, some news anchors, do that. But the reason why I have a little bit of an accent is because I was raised in Saudi Arabia when I was young. My mom was a home science teacher, so she had this international gig that she had to take the whole family to Saudi Arabia.
Nice.
And we had to go to an international school, which was an English-speaking school.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn my local language. I didn't know how to speak my local language, Wolof, till I was around 13 years old.
You speak it now?
Yeah.
Good.
I speak it now, yeah.
Because I was going to shame you otherwise.
No, I speak Wolof proper. I speak Wolof proper, yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. What a journey. So do you miss the rapping stage of your life, the events? Because this, like, broadcasting is very serious and very far away from events.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is where your calling is now, or?
For me, the thing is, everything is a performance for me.
I like that.
Everything is a performance for me.
Life's a stage, right?
Yeah, because the thing is, for me, I have a stammer. I'm the only one in my family that has a stammer. So what I used to do is, there's something that happens. When I speak English, I hardly stammer. But when I speak my local language, I stammer.
That is
when I'm hungry,
interesting.
I stammer. When I'm speaking on the phone, I stammer.
Yeah, I've heard people who have a stammer as well. When they sing, there's no stammer. So there must be something in your mind.
So I found out that when I rap, I don't stammer.
Whoa.
So that's what I found out. I was like, okay, peep, this the G-list, Shanghai, New J, yo, that's where my peeps is. I was like, okay, this is flowing quite well.
Yeah.
So when I got into media and started to anchor the news and doing reports, I put up a performance.
You put the English on. I love
put
that.
the English, I wrote it, have a little bit of a rhythm to it, the way you do it, the way you present it, the way your composure and everything.
Yeah.
You know how rappers have composure.
I mean, people don't know this, but I'm a rapper myself inside my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, rappers have composure. So that composure that rappers have too.
Yeah.
So just as a news presenter, just a performance. You just have that composure.
Oh my goodness.
I bet what you're doing is a performance. At home, you're not like this. You're like, get out of here. I want to go to bed. Don't do this. Don't do that. You're here jumping old Jovian and all of that.
Yes.
I don't trust that.
Definitely. I'm definitely different. They'll tell you I'm different.
It's a performance.
I'd like to say that I'm much different than I am now, but I don't know about that. Okay. But anyway, thank you so much for coming onto the show, Rahim. I'm so excited to speak to you because previously on the show, I did a show about the digital age and dating, and you told me that you met your wife on Tinder. So I really want to get into that. And obviously I'm from Swipe Right and I'm a matchmaker, and I'm all about helping people get together, find love and whatnot. And I think that the best maybe the most convenient way to find love these days is online. I think that if you are not online, people are maybe not as social as they once were. You know, you stay within your groups, you go to the same school, the same workplace, the same gym, and then your bubble, your dating pool becomes smaller and smaller, right? So I think that you have to go online to expand that. So I'd love to tap into your knowledge of how you got to that space in your life where you were like, you know what, I'm ready to go online. Where were you in your headspace when you did that? Or were you always comfortable being online and dating online?
Okay, I just moved to the UK in 2022.
Okay.
So I'm not very familiar with online dating. Wasn't very familiar with online dating.
So you've been married for like 3 years? What?
A couple of
2 years?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So in Gambia, we're not on that. Okay, I won't say there's online dating. People do, you know, hook up here and there on Facebook and Instagram and all of that, but it's not like a dating app. Like Tinder is a proper dating app.
Interesting.
People don't do that in Gambia. Okay, so when I came here, that was new to me. So jumping on all of these stuff was very new to me.
Yeah.
So I was here for, I think it was a climate conference, COP26.
Yeah.
So I was, because I became an environmental journalist too. I used to do environmental reporting and stuff like that. So I've been to, you know, Poland, Spain, Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt, and they happened, the COP26 was happening in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So I came to Glasgow, and my whole family, all of my siblings, they all live in the UK.
Okay.
So they all live in the UK. So I said, okay, so I'm coming to the UK. Let me take this opportunity to have a nice holiday, you know, go out there, you know, visit family. So after the COP, I went to see my cousin in Edinburgh, stayed in Edinburgh for about 2 weeks. I liked it. I was like, okay, here's cool. Let me go see England. Because I thought that England is where everything is popping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I disagree, but okay.
I know. So I went to England and went to Birmingham, went to Yorkshire, went to all of these places. The best place I was in Bournemouth. I liked Bournemouth, but all the rest was just depressing for me. I said, you know what? Yeah. Since I have 2 months left of my holiday, let me head back to Scotland because I really like Edinburgh for some reason.
Yeah.
So I came back to Scotland for 2 months was left in my holidays.
Okay.
I came back to Scotland. I was like, you know what? Let me have some fun, you know. Let me go out. So I went out. Yeah. So I said, let me go out with the boys. I went out with the boys and stuff like that. We go out, you know, and
what I'm hearing is you were on the streets.
I went clubbing. I don't know if you call that. I went clubbing to the pubs and everything and all of that.
This is a safe space. It's not judgment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went out clubbing. I went out to the clubs and stuff. I saw, you know, what some of my friends were doing. They just come behind a girl, come dancing.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like a rejection. Sometimes it's just someone continues dancing.
Yeah.
So sometimes I said, okay, I've done this when I was 16, 17 years old. Yeah. I'm like 36 now.
Yeah.
I don't see myself doing this.
Yeah.
I said, okay, since everyone is doing it, let me just get along.
Yeah.
So I did
pressure.
I just did it for one weekend.
Yeah.
Had some rejections, had some cool dance alongs.
Yeah.
They did it on Friday, did it on Saturday. The next weekend I did it again, and I was like, you know what? This is not me. I'm too old for this.
I'm tired.
I'm too old for this. I can't even stand for these long. My back won't even let me stand these long hours.
Yeah.
Bumping my head to some music.
Do you know? I saw a meme that said, "If you were born before 1995, get out of the club. You're causing traffic."
I swear to God, that's facts right there. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me. So this weekend, so there was this other weekend that I was supposed to go and spend the weekend with one of my friends. Uh-huh. So I went to spend the weekend with one of my friends, and my mind clicked that one of my best friends who lived in England once told me that, like, don't be going to these clubs all the time. Here, people don't necessarily, you know, engage like that. People, they go on Tinder. He told me three different apps. I think there was Tinder, something called, I can't remember the other ones.
Bumble?
I think it was Bubble or something.
Bumble, yes.
Bumble, yeah. I think it was that. Yeah. But Tinder was the one that stuck in my head. Yeah. So I said, oh, yeah, I was just sitting all alone in the living room, and I said, let me just, you know, go through this Tinder thing.
Yeah, nothing to lose except backing, you know.
So I just put the Tinder on. Yeah. Everyone was swiping here and there. So met a few ladies.
Like met them outside of the app?
Yeah,
like you went on the dates?
Yeah, we went match. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I met one. We went. I met. She was all the way in Dundee. Went all the way in Dundee for this.
Yeah.
You know, met her. She was driving a nice Porsche. I was like, whoa, okay, now it's happening. So I was like, okay, that's what's up. So I had a chit chat. You know, it didn't proceed.
Okay.
Second one to didn't proceed. Now, for some reason, this third one, I saw this woman's profile. She's a woman. I saw her profile, and I saw that she does coaching.
Mm-hmm.
She does, things with regards to environmental protection and environmental conservation. I was like, this kind of matches with what I do a little bit. So I swiped right.
Yep.
And it matched. I was
Swipe
like,
right.
okay. And then I sent a message, hey, what you doing? How you do? Boom, boom, boom. And then she was like, okay, let's meet for coffee at 12. And it was just 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that same day. So
yes.
she proceeded to ask.
Yeah.
Love that. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay. So I said, okay, fine. Let's go for the coffee. I went for the coffee. We sit, we chat, spoke about, life, what I do, what she does.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a professional thing and all of that.
An interview.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
It's got to be done.
Yeah, and she came with this cute, nice little dog and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, it's a pass. And she had a little bit of the criteria that I like about women. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. But first, tell us the story, and I'll get into that.
Okay, so we kind of clicked. Then we had a second date.
Was that you initiated that, or again, it was her?
I think I initiated that second date.
Okay.
We had the second date, but unfortunately I was late for the date, so that was a turn off for her. She said, like, you were late for the date.
There you go.
I was like, oh, okay. So the third date, everything went nice and good and all of that.
Okay.
And then time was ticking. Remember, I'm on holidays.
Yeah, 2 months. Yep.
I'm on holidays. So time was
Did she
ticking.
know this?
Yeah.
Okay.
She actually knew this.
Okay.
So time was ticking. I was like, you know what? Okay, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna have more fun, or is this woman, someone I should, really, sit and sit about and stuff like that? Because I was previously married before, and I got divorced, so I was single. I was just thinking that maybe since I'm just here for holidays, let me just have fun. But she was very different from the other woman I met, and the other woman I met from the clubs.
How old were you when you first initially got married? Were you really young?
When I first got married, I was like 26.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think 26 is not.
No, that's
not
that's
young.
Stage,
I think that's all
a
right.
stage,
I think that's a good stage. I think it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So we met, and so we went on the second date, the third date, and something happened.
Okay.
I was at my sister's house. I don't know these rules. I don't know that you can someone can't stay with you if it's a council flat or some stuff like that. If your cousin is on these council benefits or whatnot.
I don't know.
Yeah. So basically the council, someone told her that you can't have a guest here for more than 2 weeks. There's a amount of time that you should stay here and stuff like that. So the time was up. I had to leave. So I called her. I called
the babe,
the girl. I was like, you know what? Do you mind if I spend the rest of my holidays with you at your house? I can move in if you want. Because
guys, this is controversial for me.
It's either I can move in with you, or I can just go back to England. My other siblings are there. I don't mind. It's
and
just
she
up
said
to you.
yes.
She said, yeah, come on in. Yeah.
I wish I could meet her.
So we moved in, and then...
So wait, this was after the fourth date that you moved in?
Yeah, so each date I would say was a week in between.
Right.
So this is after a month of knowing her.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so I moved in. Then that's where I really fell in love with Edinburgh. I know what you thought. With Edinburgh. Okay. So I was like, okay, she started showing me the city, taking me to places, meeting her friends, going to Arthur's Seat, different places here and there. And I was like, you know what? This life is not really bad,
Yeah.
Scotland! I was like, this life is not really bad. And she's really tolerant.
What does that mean?
Because I'm Muslim, she lets me pray.
Okay.
She allows me to pray. She knows that when I'm praying, the dog can't get in the room.
Right.
Just certain things that I do and stuff here and there. She was like, okay, that's fine and stuff,
Okay, amazing.
And then holiday was about to end. I was like, God damn, I need to go back to work.
Yeah.
I need to go back to Gambia. So I was like, okay, you know what? I need to go back. And that really struck her. She was like, okay, it's either... like, we have to make a decision, what's going to happen? Like, are we just going to have a distant relationship or what? What's going to happen? So I was like, okay. Anyway,
were you open to that?
A distant relationship. I had it once when I was around 24, 23 years old.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend that moved to America, and that sucks.
Yeah.
That distant
It's
relationship.
not for everyone.
It's not for men. Men can't
Oh.
do distant relationships. I don't
Hello.
believe that. I don't believe
Oh.
anybody. You come out here
You're
telling
gonna
me about
speak for the men, all of them.
men are wired.
Confidently.
Men are wired different, sweetheart.
I don't. Please, why is there?
Men are wired
Why is there
different.
clapping happening?
Men are wired
I
differently.
disagree
Men,
completely.
you know, there's something in our culture, in my tradition. There's something called kolare,
Okay.
which means gratitude
Right.
and a fear of God. Is basically ragaliala is fear of God.
Okay.
I think that if you have a distant relationship with anybody, and the
Yeah.
only thing that kept you from not cheating
Yeah.
is those two things: the gratitude that you have from the
For that other
for that-
person.
the relationship,
Yeah.
the love you have, the gratitude, the respect you have for her, and all of that, and probably the fear of God. But every single person, every single man, you may not do it.
Yeah.
You won't do it. You won't necessarily cheat. But that, for one split second, shaitan or whatever, that devil in you will click. Oh, damn, look at that booty. Oh,
Ladies,
God.
I
Look
hope
at
you're
that.
listening.
Look at that. For one split second, you will emotionally cheat.
Okay. Now, emotionally cheating, I would say, is not the same as what I thought you were saying in terms of like it's human nature for even for women to look around and be like, nice, and you move on, right? What I thought
Move
what
on.
you were saying.
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, but emotionally cheating can lead to cheating if
but
the distance thing.
emotionally cheating is like, you're connecting with that person, not just someone walking by you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a glance. Human nature, you're gonna be like, oh, nice, right? That's that's acceptable, right? But if you're like getting to know someone, you're hee, you're laughing, it's your colleague, that connection of
Mm-hmm.
emotions starts to form. That's cheating, right? So I thought what you were saying is every man
Mm-hmm.
is doing that if they're in a long distance relationship. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily the second part which you just
Okay.
said. Not necessarily that.
But they're looking.
They're looking.
Of course, they're looking.
They're
Women
looking.
are looking too.
Yeah, they're looking, but
Yeah.
it can lead to you eventually. You be like, you know what, F it.
So they lack
I need to
self-control. You're saying all men lack self-control.
Not
I
necessarily.
didn't say it. Don't come beat me. It's him.
not necessarily all. I think human beings lack self-control. People just are different in
Yeah.
how much you can discipline yourself.
Yeah.
Not even in about relationship, but in about
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
In about,
that's true.
for example, stop smoking, stop drinking. It's
Yeah.
about discipline.
Okay.
There's
I can
nothing-
accept that.
Yeah,
So,
so I had to go back to the story. I
Yeah.
had to go back to the Gambia. So that
Yeah.
distant relationship started to kick in, and
Yeah.
both of us were like, distant relationship, it's a
Trouble.
no.
Yeah.
What do you think can happen?
yeah.
She flew in, baby. Hakuna Matata, baby.
This Rahim has juju, because what do you mean after 4 days you're moving in with me?
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke. And then I'm flying, leaving my okay. We need you to tell people how to use game, because clearly you've got it. And this girl was already, she was in. You'd made her fold long time ago.
Well, probably, maybe not. I think
Love was in the air.
Yeah, but people are just different. The way you go about things,
Yeah.
the way you go about relationships. I believe honesty has a lot to do with things,
That's true.
and that's something for me. Just to have a peace of mind, I would like to come clean with people.
Yeah.
I like to come clean with anybody. Like, I don't like lying, like hiding this,
Yeah.
hiding that. I just like to come clean with you.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
Maybe she
I'm
was
like, you know what,
used-
I'm doing this. You know what, I'm gonna do that. You know
Yeah.
what, this happened. You know what, I can't stay at my sister's. You mind if I this thing? You know,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I'm gonna book a hotel next week,
Yeah.
and then I didn't put all of that game out.
Yeah.
You know,
I think what you're saying is open communication.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
And on the show, we talk about it all the time. It's like nothing will work if you don't communicate openly. And you'd be surprised how many people hold their cards back and then hold themselves back. Because look how open you were. And this has flourished from you being this person who's like, these are my cards. I'm
Yeah.
either going home or I'm not.
yeah. So
Sweet. She came to
yeah,
Gambia.
she came to
Where is she
Gambia.
from? Is she from there?
No, she's from Scotland.
She's from Scotland. Okay, so
Yeah.
she was like first time in the Gambia.
She's Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus.
From the mountains of Caucasus.
Yeah. So she actually came to Gambia first time in Africa. She loved it. She she swims a lot. She's
Okay.
like a swimmer.
Like wild swimming as well?
Yeah, so she and Gambia is like water everywhere.
Wow.
So she loved it there. It was a nice time for her. She got to come to the TV with me and watch me anchor the
Nice.
news, saw me anchor the news, saw me do this, saw me do that.
Amazing.
So she knew that this is what he does. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
It is what it is, you know. So I was like, you know what? I don't mind living in Scotland, to be honest. Since I was 14, I've been in Gambia. I'm like
Yeah.
36 now.
Yeah.
I've lived in Saudi, lived in Gambia, went to these different countries, and I
Yeah.
think
home is where you make it.
yeah,
for
I
you.
think it's all right. Opening a new chapter,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
and taking up a new challenge.
Love that.
I'm living a comfortable life in Gambia. I have a car, have a good job, have this and that.
Yeah.
How about let me go to Scotland and start a new life?
Yeah.
Start
Life is a stage. It's for living. If you can, I like to say you're not a tree. If you can move, move.
Yeah. So we tied the knot.
Wow.
Went through all the whole immigration processes and everything. And
And
all
how
that.
long from first date to tying the knot exactly?
Our first date was on March 14th, a week after my birthday.
Okay.
We tied the knot on May 19th.
Guys, are you listening to the next year or the same year?
Same year.
I feel hot. I feel too warm. Guys, that is so interesting.
Yeah.
And that's including a small gap of you guys not being together when she's in Scotland, you're in the Gambia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I want to take you back to the Tinder stage of your life. Exactly what was your criteria and how much of that did she match? Or did you make compromises once you got to know her?
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting question because for me to Tinder, I do see how people put their profile up there. I'm
Yeah.
a homeowner, I'm an accountant, I'm this,
Yeah.
I'm this and that. But that's more of a professional thing to me. That
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean anything to me.
Okay.
So for me, I need to get to see the person, get to talk to the person, conversate
Yeah.
with the person to actually know what type of person she
Yep.
is. You can have all of these good qualities, but you talk a lot. You
Yeah.
can have all of these qualities, but you can't cook.
Oh.
You can have all of these qualities, but you ain't got the figure eight.
Oh.
You ain't got the Coca-Cola bottle shape. You can have all of these PhDs and everything and all of that.
Uh-huh.
Because a house is a home. A house is not an office.
Preacher.
It's home.
Yeah.
You need someone to fulfill that. Take all of these office stuff, these, discussions about my job, my this, my that. Take it out the home, baby.
Yeah.
A home is for you guys to nurture yourselves. to
Hello.
love. That's what it is for. So those are the things that I just look for.
Yeah.
I make it simple. You can be a cleaner. You can be the first minister. You can be Liz Truss. You can be whoever you want to be. But just have these qualities of making a home feel like home.
Inside the home.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
all that matters to me.
You've heard it here, ladies. Put whatever you want on your profile. Now, the reason I asked that is because obviously, like with the matchmaking, you meet people and they're like, this is my list of qualities of what I'm looking for, right? And I like to tell those people, you could spend 5 years, qualifying your list, being like, I want them to be 6 foot, I want them to have this kind of job, but then that person on paper, if you met them in real life, they will not meet exactly what you're looking for, because I think we can build something in our mind that doesn't make sense. Because when you meet someone who's married, and I've met a lot of married people, often if you ask them, did you have a list before marriage? They'll be like, yeah. Is that your partner matching that list? It's like, no. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like people have these lists that don't make sense. And so sometimes I feel when you do present a profile like on Tinder, how do people like yourself siphon? How do you read through between the lines to be like, I'm going to give this profile a chance? Is it basically the pictures, the look of the person?
I'll 100% say that with regards to that first stage of that
It's
swiping.
gotta be the looks then.
It just has to be the looks and a little bit about the profile. But to be honest, it's just
The truth
it's
is
just
true.
luck. You're just playing games, right? During that stage, you're just playing games. And this whole list that you just spoke about,
Yeah.
these are societal pressures that people put on themselves.
Oh yeah. And they have to perform them, of course.
You don't need that.
Guys, I hope you're listening to this married
There is
man.
no such thing in this whole world as a perfect man.
Yep.
That doesn't exist. A man who's 6'2", who's LeBron James, who's making 100 mil every year,
Yeah.
who's good in bed, who won't shout at you, who won't
Yeah.
smack you, who won't look at any, who doesn't, speak loud, who does not, like, there's no perfect person like that.
The way that I'm not triggering these applause. There's another.
So
anyway.
these are things that I believe that women, I don't know where you guys, we watch these in movies, or I don't know where you guys see
Hang
these
on a
things.
minute. You're telling me men don't write these lists? I know for a fact men write these lists as well.
They
absolutely have these lists.
Let me tell you something about a man.
Tell me.
You see, a man can have 500 different lists. 2 are the most important ones.
What's that? Shock me now. I'm sat down.
2. 1. Peace of mind. If you give that man peace of mind.
Ladies, if you're listening to me, never be his peace. Continue.
Just give him peace of mind.
What does that mean?
Peace of mind, 1.
Yeah.
You don't force him or push him to do things that you know that he can't do. He can't do.
Okay.
You push things that you know that, okay, this man can't do this.
Right.
Or you try to change him to become a person he's not. I hear these love quotes a lot that, I want him, when we dated, I made him a better man. That's a damn lie.
Well, now I'll disagree with you on that, because I think that in any healthy relationship where there is work on both sides, you should both change to become the version of each other. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily like I'm changing you or you're changing me. It's more of a mutual agreement to be like, okay, we're going to both change and mold into the perfect person for each other. Not perfect in the sense of togetherness.
My take on that is compatibility and compromise.
Yes, absolutely. Compromise is change.
It's just that for me. Compatibility and compromise. Both of you guys have your weaknesses. Both of you guys have your flaws.
Yeah.
Both of you guys have, things that you will compromise it. Yeah. But you really don't want to do it.
Yes, but isn't that then perhaps what you're saying about don't force this guy to do this thing? But if that person is compatible, respects you, and loves you, it turns more out of you're forcing me to, you know what? I want to do this for you. Even though I don't like it, I'm going to try and do this for you. Doesn't it become that? So it's more of like, find someone who respects you more than find someone that you can change from your list of blah, 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 blah. I think anyway. Because I think inevitably you should change in a relationship. There's no way that you're going to meet someone and have all these different experiences you've never had and come out the same person. That would be psychotic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
You should be a different person from 2 years ago. So if someone comes and impacts your life in such an intimate way as a relationship, how can you not change? So when you say like, be his peace, I want that to be broken down a little bit more, because I struggle with what that means.
Well, somebody's peace means different things to different people.
Yeah.
My peace and probably the producer's peace or someone else's peace might be different.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. People have different pieces. So some people, for example, when after work, they just want to relax, have food, watch football, chat with their wives next to them, or play with the kids, do a little bit of homework for the kids, probably have a joint or have a beer, have a beer, relax and stuff like that, you know. Now, the wife comes in, her friends maybe come in there, braiding their hair, chatting, shouting over there, boom, 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 boom. Now, I'm just giving a rough example.
Absolutely.
And the man can be the same thing, though. He can have his boys there.
Yeah.
Shouting all over the place, having the beer, do whatever they want, whilst the woman is not having his peace.
Yeah, because women need peace too. Be her peace.
Exactly.
Guys, be her peace.
And what I said about forcing him to be things that he's not. For example, let's say your man doesn't like being too or out there, for example, in this age of social media.
Yeah.
The woman wants to be snapping all the time, showing her friends,
post me, all that.
Post me, do this, do that. Whilst the man is quite a reserved person. I believe men are more tend to be reserved than ladies, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah. So sometimes you force these things on them and they try to be it and try to do it and stuff like that. They'll do it for the first few times.
Yeah.
But if it becomes to be a trend, and that's what your whole life is about, showing what you're doing outside to the public.
Yeah, the unnecessary pressure.
Yeah, it'll come to a time that he'll be like, you know what, keep me out of this drama.
Oh. Yeah.
You understand?
No, you're right.
Yeah. So there are different levels to this piece, or different aspects or nuances to this piece.
Yeah.
So men have different pieces, and their respect.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that, especially in an African context, in an African context, most African men, all they want is their respect.
What does that look like?
Well, the way you looking at me.
Guys, what? Please, I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
You know,
I'm innocent.
I believe so, that a lot of, because it's something that you see with your parents.
Okay.
You see how much respect your mother gave your dad. You know, that traditional respect of, you know, her giving water to your dad, and she kneels down, coming home, the way she greets your father. She doesn't even call her, your mom doesn't even call your dad by his name. He calls him a specific, you know, title.
Authority
like
figure.
Yeah, you know, it's not necessarily authority. It's more of respect.
So,
you know,
if you sorry to interrupt you, if you are from a household where that behavior has not been modeled, for example, you right now in an intercultural relationship, I can guarantee that this Mountains of Caucasus wife has never seen her mom kneel down for her dad. So how do you have that conversation and be like, listen, babe, in this marriage, respect looks like this to me. Did you have that conversation, or do you make exceptions because there's a cultural jump?
What I mean respect is, okay, I gave you that example.
Oh yeah. So I'm just holding on to that for fact. But what I mean to say is, for advice people listening, right? If they are doing a kind of intercultural relationship, they're looking for that respect that they know. How did you bridge that gap? As you say, like, you are coming from a specific viewpoint of life. She is also, right? How did you manage to cross that bridge together and be like, even though she's not doing this, she is respecting me? How does that change?
Well, that's very interesting, because the thing is, it depends on the person you are with. You know, for example, she is a very mature woman.
Okay.
She very experienced. She worked in various industries in which that level of maturity really, really counts, you know.
Okay.
And respect is something that people like to receive it, but it's also something that you give.
Absolutely.
So once you give that respect to her, once I gave that respect to her, and even, you know, conducted myself in certain ways, some things that I, you know, don't do, or I won't tell her, or won't, you know, shout at her, or won't call her certain names and stuff like that. She doesn't do that to me. You
Love
know?
that.
So it's something that there's something in Islam. I think it's called shifa. Shifa in Islam means the way you conduct yourself, your character. Okay. So there's this thing in Islam that they say that you don't necessarily have to go out preaching to people. For example, if you have a wife and you want her to change to become a Muslim or whatever, you don't have to be preaching all the time. It's just the way you're
live the example.
Live the example.
Right.
He or she will see it, and, you know, want to, you know, emulate that.
Okay.
So that's what I've done. You know, just make sure I conduct myself in certain. We do have fun though. We can have fun. We can. Of course, you can do whatever you want and all of those things. But respect in a certain way doesn't necessarily mean she has to kneel down and give me water. She doesn't necessarily mean that she has to call me Your Excellency and all of that. No,
goodness.
You know,
That is so
that's
interesting.
Not it. That's not it. It's just a respect of, you know, necessarily that I am a
mutual respect.
A mutual respect. Yeah.
Unsaid.
Exactly. So that's what it is for me. It's not necessarily about the practices, about, you know, kneeling down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one thing that is, for example, you know, that you have to be, in African traditions, you know, you have to be the man of the house. That can mean so many different things.
Yeah, I mean, this was going to be the show tonight, but that's the show next week. So interesting.
That can mean so many different things.
Yeah, and especially in today's climate. Yeah.
But here in the UK, there's no such thing as the man of the house.
Well, to an extent, I think.
I don't think so. What I see is 50-50 basically. There's something that my friends told me when I came in the UK first, and they were like, they said if a house was burning down,
Yeah.
And a man is inside, a woman is inside, a dog and a child is inside. They'll first rescue the child, then they first rescue the child, then they rescue the woman, then they rescue the dog, then they rescue the man.
Come on. Who said that? That's a bitter person who said that.
That's what they told me. I was like, oh hell no.
So in Africa they'll rescue the man first, and then the dog, and then the child, and then the wife.
No. There's no such thing as that in Africa.
Yeah.
But I think in Africa, obviously, they'll rescue the child first, then the
dad,
then the mom, then the dad, then the dog. Yeah, but here is different. Here, the man comes last. So when I say that here it's not practiced to that extent, I don't think there's any law or any societal norms in which the man has more of a leverage than a woman. It used to happen here though, a long time ago.
Yeah,
I do understand that it used to happen back in the 60s and the 70s and stuff, where women weren't even allowed to work.
Or have a bank account.
Exactly like that. Exactly. But those things don't happen no more. You have all of these diversity and inclusions in workplaces and stuff. People think diversity and inclusion is just about black people.
They do.
It's not.
They do.
It's not about black people. It's about gay people. It's about
gender
women.
gap.
It's about gender gap. It's about so many. It's about disabilities. It's about so many different people. But people like me, people who stammer.
Yeah.
People who stammer, who want to be in the media, who people see people like what you're doing, and I want to do what you're doing, but I stammer, and I don't have that courage to actually go on the mic and speak.
Yeah.
You know, so diversity.
But actually, if you were to come on the mic and speak and have the stammer, it would encourage more people with the stammer to get on, and it would normalize people listening to a stammer as part of like a show.
Yeah. So that's what it is for me. It's more the respect is something that has to be very mutual. And you don't have to carry all that that African tradition and stuff and be like, you know what, I have a cutlass in the house and stuff. And all
that is interesting. I feel like, you know, with even in African culture, I think that there is a shift. There's certainly been a shift here, as you're saying, in, you know, maybe in the 50s or whatever, there was very set gender roles. And, you know, with your friend saying it's 50-50, I think that maybe the society makes it so where in Africa you could perhaps still live on a one income. You know, you could be the man who goes out to work and support a family of four. But here, you know, the pressure that a man would feel if they had to support a household of 4 children, it would be incredible. Do you know what I mean? So then that would change the dynamic of the situation where the pressure at work would then release the pressure at home, and then it's a whole thing. We don't need to get into that. But no, what would you say is the advice you would give to someone who is perhaps like you, who is single, maybe looking for fun, open to a relationship, and then they're like, I've never tried Tinder before. What is the advice you would give to someone who is venturing onto the digital platform for the first time?
Well, don't judge the app by the cover. That's what they say. Don't judge the book by the cover.
Okay.
Don't judge the app by the cover. Because the thing is, a lot of people told me that Tinder is just for one night stands. I've actually heard about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that it's just for. I didn't know. Maybe my case was different because I didn't know. I didn't know all of these stereotypes that Tinder came with. You know, so I didn't know. But if there's a more respectful online platform that you think that people won't throw nude pics at you at the first, you know, thing at the first chat, you know,
men who's speaking to you, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, I've heard about these things, and I was like, really, these things really happen? And they were like, yeah.
So this isn't happening in the Gambia, or are you just not on the scene of where it's happening, perhaps? Because you're at a different stage of your life. At 36, perhaps you're not in the trenches as much as a 26-year-old would be, who is.
Nah, I don't think this dating apps is not. Nah, there's no.
Really?
What we do is.
Do you do matchmaking, like community matchmaking? Is that something that is in your culture?
Well, what we do is one day, for example, let's say back then, that's what we used to do back then.
Yeah.
Your uncle, your dad comes and tells you, okay, hey, Rahim, go to your aunt's house and take this bag of groundnut over there.
Okay.
Right? So when you go there, you go and you see your distant cousins and stuff like that and all of that. You see, oh, this guy got nyasho, this guy no got nyasho, oh, this guy had this, da. And then that is a sign that is your dad is talking to you indirectly.
Right.
When you go there, because he sends you there to go and take that bag of granite when you're like 20, 21.
Go and have a look over there.
Yeah, he's telling you to go have a look.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
That is the matchmaking that our ancestors and our forefathers used to do. You go there, you look at your cousins, not necessarily your cousins, but probably your distant cousins, but even your cousins, because back then we used to marry our cousins.
Yeah, I guess even I don't know if is it Islam or no, it might not be, but it's like a lot of Asian cultures do participate in cousin marriages.
Yeah.
Even the UK back in the day, cousin marriage was a normal thing.
That's how the matchmaking used to happen. So matchmaking been here, been in Africa for a long time. It's with the whole digital matchmaking is what's new to us.
Interestingly, in the UK, maybe even in the West in general, when online dating started becoming a thing, it was very much like like if you did meet your wife online, you guys would talk to each other and be like, we're going to tell everyone another story. Do you think that that's what is happening in the Gambia? Or is it online dating is acceptable? Like, are you happy to tell people we met online? Or do you feel like we need to change the story?
Yeah, that is a very interesting story, because I met this couple once. I once met this couple in Gambia that knew each other. They shared the same primary school, but they reconnected through Facebook. Okay. So it's not necessarily online dating where they have to match, but they see each other's pictures on Facebook and they're like, oh, I remember her. So they actually reconnected through Facebook.
Okay.
And got married.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
My younger brother, we lived in Saudi Arabia when we were young.
Yeah.
We lived together. We're not cousins, but our fathers were so close that we consider ourselves cousins.
No, I get that.
So our father was so close. So now my brother came back to Gambia and in Gambia, and this girl lived in Canada, I think. So they got reconnected through Facebook, and they ended up, getting married and stuff like that.
I don't think that counts as online dating.
So that doesn't count as online dating.
Yeah.
Here, what happens is Match, Tinder, and stuff like that. But in Gambia, people just use the Facebook and stuff, Instagram and whatever, Snapchat and stuff. But for a particular app to match people,
it's not yet grasped.
Nah.
Interesting.
It's not yet big.
But they do still slide in the DMs,
Oh yeah.
So then it's just
when I was a news anchor and I used to be on television quite a bit, I had a lot of that.
Interesting.
That used to be one of the good things,
one of the good things.
Yeah, you have.
But so I mean, I guess if there's any African tech entrepreneurs listening today, there is a market for you in the Gambia where people are happy to slide into the DMs, so they just need a platform to make it official.
Exactly, true.
So
Facts.
if you're listening, get in touch.
Facts.
And do what's necessary, because young people are online more than they are
and the interesting bit is that because when I came to the UK and my friends were taking me to the clubs and doing all of this dancing behind the doors and all of that, that's when it made me click. I said, maybe they haven't been using Tinder. That's why they're doing this. Because when I got on Tinder, I was like, bye Felicia. I ain't going down there no more.
I think as well, a lot of men, and I'm speaking as someone who's spoken with a lot of single guys, there's this thing where they say they struggle to speak with women. So, but then they find themselves in the clubs where they don't have to speak. So it's almost like, let me dance behind you. Maybe we'll end up in a kiss. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we'll end up at home rather than like approaching someone in a coffee shop. Do you find that that's the same in the Gambia, or do people just approach and speak? Because I think here, can I ask, are your friends, were they black?
Who?
Were your friends black, the ones in the club?
Yeah, they're Gambian.
They're Gambian. Yeah. So is there a struggle with them speaking to women generally? And they find that the club provides a safety net where even if I'm rejected, I'll just move on, it's dark. But if I approach you...
And they blend in the darkness. They're black.
There's music, there's distractions, right?
Okay.
But imagine a quiet coffee shop, and then you come up to someone. You're like, hey, what are you reading? Can I speak to you? And they're like, no. That's a daylight rejection. You're like, oh my God. It's too much.
I know. That's true. But there are pickup... If a player... Let me say, a player.
A player? I'm joking.
A player... knows a pickup line for the club, knows a pickup line for the office, knows a pickup line for the coffee, knows a pickup line for the studio.
Do pickup lines work?
It's just a way to slide in.
Okay,
even at DMs.
We've got about 4 minutes left. Give me your 2 best pickup lines for any man listening that's struggling right now.
Oh my God, I'm not very good with that, to be honest, because I ain't, I'm not an expert in that. But it's just about, I think you just follow your instincts,
See, that's
say something that will grab her attention. You know, either a compliment. Maybe compliments might be a little bit too cliche right now because it has been overused, I believe.
No such thing. I think the right compliment still works. And I am asking you this because when we're like coaching people into how to date, it's easy for someone like me and you to say, just be yourself, you know, but for someone who really struggles to express themselves or to like engage with the opposite sex, I like to say, practically, what do you mean when I say be yourself? Like when you say give a compliment, that could be like them being like, they told me to give a compliment. You're beautiful. That makes no sense. Do you know what I mean? Like make it contextual, like where we are, like, oh, thanks for being on time. I really appreciate that. Do you know, that's a compliment that makes sense. So I think when you say like pickup lines, I would be like, pickup lines don't work because they almost feel rehearsed and they could work for a certain situation. And then you take them out of context, because saying to that woman, you're beautiful, could definitely work. But out of context, what? It just feels like, okay, your eyes are like stars. Are they? I don't think so. But if it was a different night and you guys are vibing, she could receive that compliment.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. For example,
that's why I think the pickup lines are funny for me. But yeah.
Well, for me, I think that it works both ways. It depends on who's actually doing the pickup line too.
True.
It depends on when the world turns around and looks at your face, what he sees.
Oh, I'm an advocate for women doing the pickup lines themselves. But listen, Rahim, we've got 2 minutes left. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. This has been incredible. I'm so excited to have our first male online, and to be honest, our first male who has met an actual wife off Tinder, because as you say, Tinder does have a reputation of like one night stands, cheeky here, cheeky there. But actually, I've met loads of couples who have met online, not just Tinder. This is not a plug for Tinder, guys. Let's be honest. Unless you want to pay me, come through. I'll let you know, right?
Just one more thing. My in-law, which is my wife's mom, also met her husband through it's not online dating, but back in the days they used to have this newspaper thing where they'll put their profile and stuff like that and all that.
Woman seeking man seeking woman.
That's how they got together.
I love that.
So we just, ours is just history repeating itself.
Absolutely.
Baby.
It's fate. This has been beautiful. Listen, if you guys can take any advice from tonight, look at Rahim. He's a thriving young man. He went on the online. There's nothing wrong with figuring it out over there. And he said you went on 2 days before that, 3 days before that. You might go on 17 dates before that. Do you know what I mean? It's not about the number of dates that you go on. It's about the quality of dating that you go on. And if you find that you're dating 20 people with no success, reflect on yourself and be like, what is it I'm looking for here? When he said about his profile criteria, look into that and be like, what is it exactly that I'm picking here, that I'm matching with, that's not working out? It doesn't have to take 20 dates, but it could, and you will find your success. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Rahim, and thank you for listening to Love on the Stereo tonight. I've been your host, Holly Moon, and we'll be back next Friday at 6 p.m. Have a lovely weekend. Bye bye.
Peace.